Okay, welcome. Stacey Alcorn here. Thank you for joining us today for both IXACT 1 and IXACT 2. I am reporting to you live today from the Lair Chelmsford office in Massachusetts. And today what we're going to cover is IXACT, our preferred CRM system, our client relationship management system. So for the next 45 minutes, I'm going to dig into the basics of getting your IXACT system set up. And then after that, we're going to dive into part 2 of the program in actually getting your contacts into the system and sharing great content with your clients. So why do you need a CRM? And what is a CRM? A CRM is a client relationship management system. It's a place where you can store past customer info, store prospect info, like names and emails address. It's a place where you can keep notes, set up email campaigns. And I always say in real estate, anytime you can find a set it and forget it system, you should do it. Because there's so many little things we have to do on a daily basis in order to run a successful real estate business. There's not that many things that you can set up that are just set it and forget it. So with your IXACT CRM client relationship management system, the whole idea of it is to invest some time now. It's a slower time of year. Invest some time up front now so that moving forward, it's set it and forget it. It's just putting people into the system every day so that you're building your database. So I like to remind everybody, your database is your gold. You have to have a database for so many reasons. First of all, by having a database, your leads are cheaper. So if you don't have a database, so for example, let's say you're a brand new real estate agent, you don't have a database. That means typically you're going out and buying leads from somewhere. You're either paying a subscription for leads or you're signing up for one of those programs where you pay referral fees for the leads they send you. Your goal is that over time, you eventually get to a spot where you don't have to buy leads. And the only way to do that is to create a database so that you're talking to people all of the time, you become your own Zillow, your own realtor.com. The other reason you need to have a database is that your business becomes consistent. So many agents don't stick into the business that long because they don't like the inconsistency of having a real estate transaction and then it closes and then you have to go find your next real estate transaction. By building your CRM, your client relationship management system, the idea is that you eventually get to consistent business because you're going to have this big pipeline or network of people that you're talking to all the time so that as soon as one deal closes, and even before one deal closes, the next deal lands in your plate. Also, with a great database, your business becomes saleable. So for many of you, the end goal of your real estate business is to have something to sell. You don't have much to sell if you don't have a database. A large group of people that know you, trust you, come to you for business. So you need to have all that information in one place, and that's your database. And last but not least, you need to have a database because it just becomes harder for people to forget you when you have a database. You're staying in front of them all the time. I had an agent ask recently, well, I have all these followers on Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram. That's great. However, the only way they get to see or hear your content regularly is through algorithms. That means if you have 5,000 followers on Facebook, those 5,000 followers, if you post something today, not all 5,000 followers are going to see that message. A tiny percentage of those followers will see the message. So the best way to fix that is to have another system in which you're staying in front of people, and so that they can't forget you. And that is through an email system, a marketing system. That's not to say you shouldn't be using social media. Of course, you should use all of the different resources, because even email campaigns and marketing campaigns, you're not going to get in front of 100% of people in any one of the types of ways you market. So it is important to have a database. It is important to also use social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, use them all. But you should definitely be building your database. Now, 15 years ago, arguably, it was less important. And even back then, it was pretty important. But 15 years ago, maybe it was less important to have a database because it was harder for your customers to forget you. Well, today we live in a day and age that it's too easy to forget who somebody's real estate agent is. I've shared the story before that in my own neighborhood, there's about 11 houses in a little cul-de-sac neighborhood that I live in. A few years ago, I went to a neighborhood party and I was talking to the neighbors, and I wanted to know who their real estate agents were, who sold them the house. And almost none of them could remember who their real estate agent was, which is interesting to me. We live in a day and age where if you're not staying in front of your customer, somebody else is. There's so many real estate agents, and it's too easy for them to get in front of your customer using social media and systems, or postcard mailings and systems like that. So it's more important than ever to make sure you're staying in front of your clients. So this is just an interesting statistic I read recently, just to prove the point that if you don't stay in touch with your clients, somebody else will. The National Association of Realtors calculates that there are more than 1.4 million realtors in the United States. Between 2020 and 2021, the total amount increased by 5%. I don't think we're going to see a decrease in the number of people coming into real estate anytime soon. And by the way, since we have lots of Florida agents on today's call, Florida tops the list as the state with the most realtors. There are more than 195,000 realtors in Florida alone. So just another reason why you need to be building this database so that you can stay in touch, set it and forget it, stay in touch with the people who already know, like, and trust you for their real estate needs. So quickly, who goes into your CRM, your client relationship management system, or your database? Friends, family, coworkers, neighbors. An easy place to start if you have no database at all is, imagine you were planning your wedding. Who are all the people you would invite to your wedding? Hopefully you have their names, addresses, email addresses, maybe you have birth dates too. Put all of them in so that they're constantly reminded that you're in real estate. Also, many of you are signed up for all different lead programs. So for example, many of you participate in our Op City or Veterans United program. Some of you have your own outside partnerships with Zillow, Ojo, Estately, etc. Any of those programs, anybody you get in any of those lead programs should go into your database. You should be marketing to them. A large percentage of the leads you might get from these sources aren't buying today or tomorrow or next week. They could be buying 6 months from now. So what are you doing to make sure you're still in front of them in 6 months without doing a great deal of work? That's the importance of having your database, your marketing system, and your set it and forget it system. Next, open house attendees. Many of you are hosting open houses either for your own listings or assisting fellow agents at Lair. You collect all this data at an open house. What are you doing with it? Put those prospects into your database. As well, real estate vendors, attorneys, mortgage people, bankers, home inspectors are all the people that are part of a real estate transaction. On each of your transactions, are they part of your database? They often get missed when building a database. And your attorney, mortgage people, bankers, home inspectors, they refer customers too. So make sure to add them as well into your database so they get to hear from you regularly as part of your marketing campaign. Then you have other types of vendors, landscaping companies, painters, roofers, hairdressers, your cleaners, who are the people you do business with on a regular basis. If you're doing business with them on a regular basis, shouldn't they also do business with you on a regular basis? Make it easy for them by staying in touch. The long and the short of it is really anyone you meet, anybody you know, you are going to be in the business of collecting names and email addresses, information, so that you can keep in touch. What makes a company like Zillow, for example, bigger than a company than, say, Estate Lead? Both of them are real estate lead referral databases that refer out business. The difference is Zillow has more emails than Estate Lead. So if you want to do more business than the next guy, you need to have more contacts, more emails, more names and phone numbers of people that you are staying in touch with. So let's talk quickly about our $39 a month tech bundle, and then we're going to dig right into IXACT. So first of all of you, I believe everybody on today's program is a Lair agent. And as you know, we have a $39 per month tech bundle. So for $39 a month, you get 3 products. IXACT, which we're going to cover today, which is a database / marketing system. Second is Boston Logic, which is a website system, and Real Scout, which is a system for letting your clients know, like getting text messages when new houses hit the market, etc. So as part of our Lair tech bundle, you get all 3 of those products for $39 a month. Interestingly, when I was preparing this class, I didn't know what each individual company charges for their product. And so I went on to each website, IXACT, Boston Logic, and Real Scout, just to look up to see what it would cost an agent who is not part of Lair, just somebody going out and buying the product on their own, what it would cost them. And each of them charges, interestingly enough, $39 a month. So with Lair, you get all 3 products for $39 a month. So you get a savings of about $78 per month, which is $936 per year by joining under the Lair program. Now, if you have signed up for the bundle, I just want to quickly say that some of you have signed up months ago and just haven't even logged into IXACT yet. So I can go into the back end and pull reports and see who's logging in and who's actually using the program. If you have not used the program yet and you don't even know how to log in, just email Happy Agent and they'll get you your username and password. They can just resend you an invite into the program. So you can email Happy Agent at lairrealty.com. They'll resend you an invitation to get into IXACT so that you can log in. For most of today's program, I went into the back end and I've spent several weeks just learning the IXACT program, learning what it can do, what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are. I know that there's a million different CRM systems out there, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter to me as the broker owner, the CEO, it doesn't matter to me which CRM you're using, but you need to have a CRM. So you don't have to use the IXACT one. What I like about IXACT is the ease of use. Does it do everything that all the other CRM systems do? Probably not. It's a very simple system, and it does a few things really well, but most importantly, it's very simple to use. And in my opinion, that weighs in heavily when we're selecting a CRM product to work with. It's not complicated. So as we go through today's program, I will point out some of the areas where IXACT is really easy to use. Other areas where I would not recommend using it. And then you can decide for yourself if this is the best CRM for you. I always say the best CRM for a real estate agent is the one that you're going to use. So again, if you have signed up for IXACT and you haven't used the system yet, just email Happy Agent. We can resend you your invitation. As we go through today's program, I screenshotted the back end of IXACT. So I logged into my IXACT as an agent to create this program. So if you are familiar with IXACT, you know how to log into the back end of your system, I would recommend that you do that while you're watching today's program. So you can kind of toggle back and forth between what we're talking about, and you'll see the same screen settings on your own, so that you can kind of get an idea of where you need to look. Also, I will make this presentation available so that if, for example, this weekend after the new year, you're working on it and you just want step-by-step instructions and you don't want to watch the whole video again, you can just go through the presentation and find the instructions for what you need to know. Because basically today's program is a guide to find the pieces that are most important to use. Now, first part of today's program is beginner, just setting up the system so that it can do cool stuff. Second part of today's program is actually getting your contacts in. There's a couple areas that I had hoped to cover, but I know we're not going to have time. So I'm going to save that for a third program that I'm working on. And that third class, which is stuff we're not going to cover today, is getting your IXACT website. So IXACT does come with a free website. We're not going to cover that today because I think Boston Logic is a better website for our agents. So we're not going to cover the IXACT website today, although I will cover it in a future class. I'm not going to really cover their additional paid products. So they have a texting campaign, a social media program that you can pay additional money for. I'm not going to cover that today, although I will cover it in a future class. And I'm not covering activity plans. So I think there could be a whole class just on activity plans for new listings and new buyers. So I'm going to save that. What we are going to cover today in the first part of the program is setting up birthday campaigns, how to mass email, setting up your newsletter campaign. So we're going to look at how to get those set up, get your back end set up. And then the second part of today, the more advanced class, we're going to look at adding contacts into the system so that once you've set up the campaigns, now you can add your contacts into the campaign. Some of the highlights of IXACT. Number one, the big reason that I love IXACT is that number one, it is a set it and forget it system. Number two, they have awesome support. So I always say to agents, like, if you get stuck, if you call the IXACT support team, they answer their phones, they'll walk you through whatever you're trying to walk through. Other than that, I love it for its ease of use. It has a downloadable app or desktop. Definitely set it and forget it with your newsletter campaign. If the monthly newsletter campaign is all you use it for, you're winning. So if you're adding 5 new people a day to your database and all you use IXACT for is setting up a newsletter campaign, awesome, you're winning. You're doing an amazing job. But in addition to that, you can set it up so your clients and prospects get emails from you on their birthday, emails from you on their anniversary of buying a home. You can send out mass emails every time you get a new listing, and we're going to show you how to do that using the layer marketing bundles that you get. So there's so much cool stuff that you can use your IXACT system for, and we're going to cover most of it. So we'll cover about 40% of the program in the first half, another 40% of what you can use IXACT for in the second program, and then we'll work on creating a third program on activity plans, setting up your website, using some of the additional paid services, And then on that other class, we'll also show you how to set up teams for agents that want to set up teams. I do want to just say quickly, sometimes agents are worried about putting their database into a system because they've been at other brokerages, and at some brokerages, you put all of your information into a database system, and then when you leave, the brokerage continues to market to the database. What I'll tell you is we've never done that in 20 years of owning brokerages. It's just not how we operate. So if you were to leave our brokerage, you can export everything from your IXACT system, just like you can import from any other system. You can export your database, and we're not going to be marketing to it. So I like to just put that out there in case that is a reason for somebody not getting a database together. So let's dig into some of the cool stuff. The first thing that you will want to know is where do you learn more about IXACT? And there's a few different places. First of all, if you go to IXACTcontact.com/video tutorials, there's all kinds of classes in there. If you go to https services.IXACT.com/help, there's a 121-page help guide. Most of you are not going to download a 121-page guide on how to use IXACT. I did that because I like having the guide in front of me so I could read through it and find like little shortcuts to stuff. Most of you, there's no reason why you would have to read a 121-page manual to learn how to use it. The email and the support phone number you'll want to jot down right now: support@IXACTcontact.com. Again, it's support@IXACTcontact.com, or you can call them at 866-265-6990. Their support is amazing. They do. Every once in a while, I'll have a little question about something, and I usually just email support, and they email right back and answer the question. If you call, you'll usually get a live person. Fourth, layer program guide. So in our layer program and services guide on, I believe, page 12 of our guide is the IXACT contact page. And when you look at that page, all of these, it says, check out these tutorials. And these are all hyperlinks to little classes. So like there's one that says mass email. If you click on that, it's a little video on how to set up a mass email or how to set up birthday campaigns. If you click on that, it's going to show you how to set that up. So those will take you right over to the IXACT support page. One other place I just want to point out, I'm going to stop sharing just for one moment so I can take you to one other section. I want to take you, which I may occasionally do throughout today's program, although not too much. Let's see if I can reshare this. I'm going to take you right into the back end of my IXACT just to show you one other place where you can get help. So right now you're looking at the back end of my dashboard of IXACT. So I might a couple of times here and there just move over so that you can see it live. And if I want to show you something, for the most part, I'm going to be working off my presentation where I took screen clips of the most important pieces that you'll need to know. But what I want to point out is as you're going through the back end of your dashboard, if you look up here, and this is embedded all throughout the entire program. So all throughout your dashboard, you're going to see this little video button. So like I went under keep in touch events and I see this little video button. If I click that, it's going to show me a video on how to use this section of the dashboard. Let's go up to my profile for a second. So if I go up to my profile, I can see one already. If I was creating a team version, using a team version of IXACT, I see a little video I can watch right here. all throughout. So anytime like you're setting up your email signature, your header, you're going to see these little video buttons all throughout the back end of your dashboard. So I'm going to unshare, stop sharing for a second. I only want to bring that up because it's just a fifth resource that you have on where to get help when you are using IXACT. So let me move back over to my presentation. Here we go. So that would be a fifth spot, is just those little video tutorial buttons that are embedded. They're baked in throughout the entire back end of your dashboard. So don't lose sight of that. Like if you get stuck on something as you're trying to set up like a newsletter and you get stuck, just click on it, because that's how I learned how to use the program. That's how I created today's class, is spending time digging into the system and then watching the little tutorials when I got stuck on something. Okay, so how do you start by getting your pot of gold in there? First, you can go to the setup wizard. So when you log in for the first time, there's a setup wizard that walks you through step by step the most important pieces of getting set up. You'll want to import all of your existing contacts. I'll cover this a little more in part 2 of today's program. I won't spend a lot of time with it right now, but if you have an existing database somewhere, say you're pulling it out of Top Producer or one of the other contact management systems, you can call or email IXACT or email your database to them and they'll upload it for you. So you don't have to, totally up to you. As well, maybe you don't have a CRM right now. Just spend 5 minutes a day adding new contacts. They have a nice app that you can download, but you should be adding contacts every single day. It's one of the most important pieces of your job as a real estate agent. And then also you'll want to set up lead capture for any of the lead services. So that's just like steps for getting your leads in. You're going to want to import contacts, spend 5 minutes a day adding contacts one at a time as you meet new people, and then set up lead capture and lead integration for lead services, which we'll cover in part 2 of today's program. Okay, if you have not done so already, if you are using IXACT, make sure you download the app. One of the keys to your success will be adding names and email addresses to your database every single day, so that you can add those people to marketing campaigns. So since your success is a byproduct of your ability to add people to your database, then you want to get really good at adding people to your database, which means you want to make it easy on yourself. So just go in and download the app so you always have it handy to add new people as you meet them out on the street. We'll talk a little bit about setting up integrations, but yes, you can set up integrations with Google, Zillow, Real Scout, you name it, all these different programs that you can set up so that when a lead comes into one of your lead programs, it also automatically goes into IXACT. Okay, so the next piece I want to just talk about setting up your system so that the set it and forget it part really works. So what we're going to spend some time on is birthday, home anniversary, and newsletter, setting it up so that those 3 aspects of your keep in touch campaign work. So for part 1 of today's class, we're going to show you how to set it up so that your birthdays, so a birthday campaign, a home anniversary campaign, and a newsletter campaign can go out for anybody that you put into the system. That means on somebody's birthday, they'll get an email from you wishing them a happy birthday. When it's a 1-year anniversary of when they purchased their home, or any anniversary, on an anniversary of purchasing their home each year, they'll get an email from you. And then also a newsletter campaign. So the first part of today's program is just setting those systems up. And then the second part of today's program is adding leads in, or contacts into the system so that those contacts start receiving the birthday, the home anniversary, and the newsletter. So we're going to go through these 3 keep in touch campaigns. Then we're going to show you how to mass email everybody in your database. Why would you want to mass email them? Well, the cool way to use the program is at Layer, we do these awesome marketing bundles for you where we send out to you a brochure of your new listing. Well, why not every time you have a new listing, save that brochure as a JPEG, upload it into your mass emails, and send out an email to everybody in your database announcing your new listing in case they know somebody who might be interested in buying it. So let's start with birthday campaign, super simple. So I do want to point out quickly that when you log into the back end, like I said, if you are currently an IXACT member, the best way to use today's program is to have IXACT open to your dashboard. So while you're watching this, open your own version. If you don't know your username and password, email Happy Agent and they will resend you an invitation to IXACT. But otherwise, if you do know your username and password, you should be logged into the back end of your dashboard. When you're in the back end of your dashboard, the table of contents or the menu that you're going to be working off of is on the left-hand side. So you'll see over on the left-hand side, there's a list. And what we're going to be focusing on today is the keep in touch campaigns. So when you're on the back end, if you're following along in the back end of IXACT, go to your keep in touch campaigns, and you'll see we have 3 types of keep in touch events: the monthly newsletter, the birthday, and the move-in anniversary. So you're going to want to go into your birthday event setup and set up. So this is just setting it up so that all of your birthdays will get a nice card. We're not talking about adding content or contacts yet. We're just setting it up so that the birthday event works when we do add contacts down the road. So you're going to go into the Keep in Touch tab on the left-hand menu. Then you're going to click on Birthday Event Template. It's then going to ask you a handful of questions. Do you want to include this in your calendar? Doesn't matter if you do or you don't. It's the calendar within IXACT. So if you're not looking at the calendar in IXACT, it really doesn't matter. Do you want to create a task to send out a birthday card or gift? I only check that off if you actually want to get a reminder that says, hey, you said you want to mail a gift to the person. If you're not going to do that, you don't need to have the second part checked off. What you do want to check off is that you want it set up, because this is a set it and forget it system. You do want to check off that you want to automatically assign contacts with a birth date to a birthday event. So that needs to be purple. That needs to be checked off. What that means is that anytime you put a contact into your database, what you're telling the system is that if you put a birth date in the system for that contact, you want that person to get a birthday card from you. So the answer is yes. If you're going to put the birth date in, you want the contact to receive a birthday card. There are ways to remove somebody from it if you don't want, or just don't put the birthday in and they won't get it. Email birthday card from you on that day. But yes, you want to automatically assign contacts with the birth date to this birthday event. You also want to automatically send the e-card on their birth date. The beauty of the program is to set it and forget it. So you just want to automatically send the birthday card out. There's one other step that you must do, and that is adding a template down at the bottom. So you will need to select greeting cards and then go add a birthday template. So you select layer birthday 1. We're in the process of adding additional templates so you can change it out each year, but you want to go add that layer birthday 1. Select your birthday template so that you must make sure that you've automatically assigned contacts with the birth date to the birthday event. you auto send the e-card on the birth date, and that you have set up the email template, which card you want the person to get. So it's an e-card, which e-card do you want the person to get? As a reminder, you'll see in the back end, see this little, right at the top, there's a little video button. So if you get stuck, you can always just watch the little video button and it'll tell you, it'll tell you how to do this, but it's very simple. And then let's go over and look. This is what the happy birthday email looks like. So it'll come from you. It comes from your email and it'll say happy birthday, wishing you a wonderful day and year ahead. And then it's got your signature line at the bottom. So that's all set up. Next, you want to set up an anniversary card. Same thing, you go to keep in touch campaigns. This time you're going to check off the move-in anniversary template. Same thing, you don't necessarily need to include it in the calendar. You do not need to create a task. Creating a task is only if you want to actually send a handwritten card. So the system will remind you, it'll send you a reminder to send out a card. If you're not going to send out a card, then you don't need to do that. What you must do is the 3 pieces that we did for the birthday. Automatically assign contacts with a move-in date, auto send an e-card on move-in date, and select your card. So select greeting cards and then home anniversary one. And we're adding additional ones. So you'll have a bunch of different home anniversary cards to choose from. So super easy. You're just going to click 2 boxes. I don't think you need to click the top 2 boxes unless you want to. Choose your greeting card and home anniversary. And then on their 1-year home anniversary, they'll get a nice happy home anniversary card from you. This is an e-card. Okay, the next part is the email newsletter. This one is the best part of the IXACT system. This is the reason why most people use the program, is for this newsletter. So if you're using the e-newsletter system through IXACT, what it does is the system writes a newsletter for you on a monthly basis. It'll send out a newsletter to your customers without you really doing anything. You have to go in and set it up, and that's what we're going to talk about right now, how to set it up so that you can set it and forget it, which means all you'll have to do is just add new contacts every month, and then the contacts will get the newsletter. So this is what the email newsletter looks like. So Greg Gervais is out of our Peabody office, and I happen to be on his email campaign, so I get his email every month. This is the newsletter email. So I've clipped the top. This is what the email looks like when it comes into me. What you can't see is that down at the bottom, it then has different articles about getting your home ready, or staging tips, or tips about landscaping, painting, things like that. So it's a real estate newsletter. But what's cool about it is, and we're going to show you how to make this really nice header so that you have a beautiful header at the top, just like Greg's. Also, the system will allow you to customize the letter if you want to. I don't think you have to. Greg does not customize the letter whatsoever. He has set it up so that his IXACT is a set it and forget it system. He set it up once. He does not go in and customize each month. It just automatically goes out. And that's how most of you will set it up. So that, because sometimes when you have all this customization, it just slows things down to the point it might not happen. And the beauty of this system is making sure that your newsletter does get out. So let's first talk about that header, because I think this header is beautiful of Greg's. Greg used their service. So IXACT has a service for creating this beautiful header that you can set up. So how do you set up your newsletter header? You'll have to go to your user profile. Anytime I talk about your user profile, it's in the upper right-hand corner. There's a little button there. That's your user profile. You then click on email header. So first you go to your profile, then you go to the tabs that are in the middle, and you're going to go to your email header. You are going to want to set up a custom header, not a standard header. The standard header, in my opinion, is boring. It looks kind of like, you can see my partial standard header down here. I don't use the standard header because I think it's boring looking. I want my header to look like Greg's did, really sharp looking. So you want to use the custom header, which means you're going to have to slide this button over so that the custom header is purple. Next, right next to that, it says, do you need help creating a header? And the answer is yes, you'll probably need help creating that. So you're going to click on that button that says, I need help creating a custom header. And then it takes you to a page that looks like this. And if you go down to the second paragraph, it says, hey, if you need help creating a header for your newsletter and your emails, just click here. So I still have it selected as custom header. Click down here. And then it brings me to this page that's called the custom email header generator, where you put in your name, your title, your phone number, your personal website address. If you want a quote that goes up in the upper banner, you put that in. And then if you want to show that you have links that you're on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc., you choose which ones you're in. You keep going. It has you upload your photo, your logo, and then it has you choose what background images. So there's tons and tons of background images to choose from. As well, you can upload your own background image, but I used one right from IXACT because there's tons to choose from. Like on Greg's, his background image was the ocean, so he used one that came right from IXACT. And then you can choose your color palette. So I chose ocean sky. So once you do all that, you generate your header. So this is the header that I created. And this is just using their custom header generator and their images. I did not upload anything special. The only thing I uploaded was my own photo and their logo. So now this is my custom header that will go out on my emails, my newsletter campaigns, etc. You're not quite done yet. Once you know you like your header, now you have to upload it into the system. So you'll have to right click on the header. So it creates the header for you. If you like it, then you right click on it and then you can save image as, and then you name your image and it's going to download this image right to your computer. And then you end up right to where we were to begin with, going to our custom header page, because now we have to go upload the header that we just created. So now I'm on the email header page again. And at the top, I clicked custom header. And at the bottom, when I scroll down, it says go to the custom header setup. And you'll see there's a little place where I upload. So you see a little image button. You click on that and you select from your computer the header that you just saved. And then once you do that, I then center justify, because I don't want it left justified. When I send my email, I want that header to be centered. So go to custom header setup, click on the little image button, upload the image and center it. And now it'll look just like this. By the way, if I go backwards, you'll see under the custom header setup, there's a little video there. Like I mentioned earlier, if you get stuck, just watch the little video and it will walk you through how to do the custom header, adding it here. So this is what mine looks like. There's my custom header. Make sure you like the look of it, because if you don't, you can go back and do the whole thing over. You can regenerate your custom header, and you're not quite done yet. Once you've done that, then scrolls up, and I check off this little box that says include the selected email header for all mass emails, because I want that. I like it to go on all my emails, But even when you send out a mass email, it'll still give you the option to not have that header. So if you don't want the header, you can always take it out later. But I do check that off so that that header is in all my emails. And then most importantly, click save. And now it's saved. And make sure you see this little screen that says your changes have been saved. Now, a couple things just to note about IXACT is that if you're part of the layer under the tech bundle version at layer, which is $39 a month for 3 products, IXACT, Boston Logic, and Real Scout, under the tech bundle product, you get, so under the IXACT piece of it for $39 a month, you can send out 2,500 emails per month at no charge. And for 99% of you, that's going to be more than enough. If you're looking to send more than 2,500 emails per month, there is a charge for it at IXACT. So you have to go in, like if you want to send an additional 1,000 emails, meaning you want to send out 3,500 emails a month, they charge you $10 a month for that. So most of you are going to have no problem staying under the 2,500 email limit per month. But I do like to point that out in case you find a snag in trying to send out an email. If you're over that 2,500 mark, it may just be because you have to buy the additional emails. Now, we want to set it up so that newsletter goes out once per month because we want that set it and forget it. In order to do that, you'll need to visit 2 areas. You're going to go to the Keep in Touch side. So first, we're going to go to the Keep in Touch under the left side menu. And then we're also going to have to go to Mass Emails, which we'll do in a second. So you're going to go to Keep in Touch and click on Mass E-Newsletter. And then it has this. So all I did here is I clicked on Keep in Touch on the left side, and then it brings me to my Keep in Touch page. And I'm going to click on Monthly E-Newsletter. And once I do that, it takes me to this page where I can set up my newsletter. So you just click off all the months that you want somebody to get the newsletter. And you're probably going to check them all off. I don't see why you would remove months. So make sure every month is checked off. You want the typical person to get every newsletter. You can pick the day of the month that you want your newsletter to go out. You can have it go out on the first day of each month or a particular day each month. You can also select the times that you want the emails to go out. Couple things here. You can change the email subject line, which I think is a good idea. So here I would put, so you'll see default email subjects. It says your real estate update. I think it's cooler to say like Stacey's real estate update or something catchy so the people know it's you. It doesn't look like a purchased program. So I do something with your name in it for that email subject line. You do want to make sure that it's including your email header. And you do want to make sure that you've selected your custom header. Now, one thing just for you guys that pay attention to details, if you click this little link down here, it basically says that if you want a mobile-friendly e-newsletter, you should use a standard header. I'm going to tell you, I receive these emails all the time and they have custom headers. The custom header is mobile-friendly. It looks good. So I think you should have this. You want an email header on your newsletter, and it should be the custom header that you just created. And then everything else will default. So you really don't have to fill out much. At the very bottom, it'll ask you like, who do you want to get this newsletter? And I check off everybody. So manually entered contacts, lead capture contacts, synced contacts. In my opinion, everybody in your entire database should get your monthly newsletter. Once you have it all set up, don't forget to save it, just so all of your settings are correct. And then once you've done that, you also want to go to mass email. So still on the left-hand column, under the menu, you're going to click on mass email. And then once there, you're going to have these 4 tabs. Click on monthly e-newsletter. And there is where you can do some customization if you want to. So number one, as far as the monthly e-newsletter goes, by the way, if you like the way it looks, you don't have to click there. But I say go in here once just to make sure that you like the way it looks. I mentioned when I showed you Greg's newsletter that he does not create a custom message. The system creates a custom message as on top of the newsletter each month. And it's from you, it's signed by you. If you want to change that custom personal message, then you do it under here, where you go to that mass email and click on e-newsletter. You click on custom personal message. So under this section, you can change your personal message. Why would somebody want to do that? Well, let's say that you're hosting a class, a first-time buyer class, and you want to make sure it's mentioned in your newsletter. Then you could go change out your message for the month so that there's a little note in there, just a reminder to come to my first-time buyer class, something like that. So under this page, under the mass email section, you can customize your personal message for your newsletter. You can also customize the articles. So there's always 3 articles in your newsletter. And you can send a preview of the newsletter to yourself, just to make sure that you like the look and feel of it. So here's the, this is what it will look like if you try to customize the articles. I mentioned every newsletter has 3 articles. This is what it looks like if you customize the articles. So if you press the button, I'm still under the mass email button on the left-hand side, and I went to mass email to e-newsletter. If you want to customize the articles, then you click on this button. It'll let you do a few different things. It'll let you customize any of the 3 articles that are about to go out to your customers. So if you want to add something into the article, it'll let you exclude an article. So if for some reason you don't want that article to go out to your customers, you can exclude it. And the third is you can add your own articles. So let's say, why would you want to add an article? Well, sometimes you might want to do a feature article about your favorite vendor, your favorite mortgage person, your favorite photographer. This is a great place to do that. So that article that you write will be part of your e-newsletter. This just shows you how to customize your message. So as I mentioned, you can customize the personal message that goes out. So when you click on customize personal message, it shows you the letter that is scheduled to go out with your next newsletter, but you can go in and change whatever you want. You can change what is said in that letter. You can change font, you can add links, whatever you want. Most importantly, I think at least for the first couple of months of sending the newsletter, just send yourself a preview just to make sure you like it. And once you like it, just save it and it's ready to go out. As a reminder, I like to change the subject line. So you'll see here on this page, I did change the subject line. So it's called Stacey's Real Estate Update instead of your real estate update. I think people are more likely to click on it if they get something with your name in the subject line. So like Stacey's Real Estate Update. So before you save it, just go in and change the name of the subject so that you have a catchy name for your e-newsletter and then save it. Again, always make sure your custom header is being used because it looks nicer. And that's it. So your e-newsletter is now set to go. We haven't added contacts. We're going to do that in a few minutes, but you are all set to go. One last piece I want to show you guys, and then we're going to dig into part 2 of today's program, which is the more advanced class on how to add your contacts, is how to send a mass email. So what we've covered thus far is keep in touch campaigns, those set it and forget it systems for sending a birthday email, an anniversary, home anniversary email, and a newsletter. Those are the 3 pieces that we have set up. The third piece I want to cover before I move on to the more advanced section of today's program is sending out a mass email. So over on the left-hand side of the screen, it says mass email is one of the buttons you can press. So click mass email. And once you click mass email, click on create new email, the tab right in the center. It says create new email. The best way to use that section is for your marketing bundles. So all you have to do is press create new email, and then you go to your marketing bundle. And I'm going to show this to you because I think it's so important. So let me stop sharing just for a minute, and then I'm going to log in and show you a sample of this right from my own. So let me first pull somebody's bundle. So really quick, you get this email as an agent. So your listing agent, you just listed a new property. Lair sends you an email saying, congratulations on your new listing. Here's your brochure on the property. One of the links that we send you is one that says edit the listing flyer. So if you click on that listing flyer, I just pulled a random one for one of our agents. So this is Tia Lynn Cram's new listing that came out today. So let's say I'm Tia and I want to send this out to everybody in my database to announce my new listing. I just clicked on the link to edit my brochure. I'm then going to download it. I'm going to download it as a JPEG, because if you download it as a PNG, it's going to be too big to put into your email. So you're going to download it as a JPEG, and I don't want all the pages. I think it'll make the email too long. I'm going to just do page 1. Okay, so I selected JPEG and page 1 only, and I'm going to download it. So that'll just take 1 second, just to show you guys how simple it is to email this out. Okay, so I just downloaded 26 high. Now I'm going to go to the back end of my IXACT, and I'm going to mass email, create new email, and I'm down creating my email, and I'm going to click the image, insert image button. And it brings me to the page where I'm going to upload my image. And here's the one I just downloaded. So there's my email that's going out. And I'm going to change my subject line. Check out my new listing in Pepperell. I'm going to select my contacts. We'll say display all. So I don't have a ton of contacts in here because I don't actively sell real estate, but I want it to go to all my contacts. So I just said select all. And then I could upload an attachment, but I'm not. Let's see. I think that's it. And then I would just send it out. And now I have an email going out to my entire database of my new listing. So that's how you can kind of incorporate one of the other tools we offer you as part of, as an additional piece to use with IXACT. So that's a great way to use your marketing bundle. Make sure that that email goes out. Couple last things I want to just point out. Let me just reshare this so it's a little easier to see. One other thing I want to just point out before we head over to the next part of the program is over on the left-hand side, again, if you click on mass email and go to campaign reporting, you can actually follow to see how well your campaigns are received by your customers. So you can do it by date. You just pull the dates here. and you can see what percentage of people are opening like your e-newsletter, your mass emails, things like that. It also has some more detailed reporting, like what time of day people mostly open, things like that. Also, if you click, I'm still under campaign reporting up here. If you go to auto emails, if you click on just auto emails, it'll show you who's opening your automated emails, like your keep in touch campaigns. Whereas if you click the mass email reporting, it shows you who's opening the mass emails that you send, like announcements of new listings and things like that. So just some cool reporting features. And that is it for part 1 of today's program. And we're going to dig right in. I know we're late, but we're going to dig right into part 2, a more advanced version of IXACT.